Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Didn't mark my book. About 2 weeks ago, I was on the Halo subreddit when I saw this. And I was like, oh, I recognize that. That must be where that Nakey Jakey sample comes from. So I looked it up, or I read in the comments, and I found the name of the song, and then I listened to it on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, Berserk. And I'm like, I've played Dark Souls. I know that they like Berserk. Maybe I'll like Berserk. And so I didn't want to watch the Amazon version of the show because I figured it would be bad. And that's what everyone says. So I was right. So I found a rip on YouTube of the 1997 Berserk. The original running of the anime. The original, yeah, that. The beginning. The am I a bad person? Yes, no, go back to bed meme. That anime. I was so excited when I got to that. I did not know it was from this. But anyway, so I watched it. It was like 10 p.m. when I started watching it. And then I watched it until I finished it. I finished it that night. I watched all of... I was up to like 7 in the morning. I finished Berserk I finished the anime in one night. And it's ruined my life. My life's ruined. My entire life is ruined because of this. Because I watched this fucking anime. Or those familiar with the anime know how it ends. And that I couldn't... Like, I knew that wasn't the end of the story because I knew that Berserk was a manga and I knew that it's still running or some shit. Some ridiculous shit. It started in 89. But anyway, I finished it. And then I went on Amazon and I bought this. I bought the nice fancy version. I think this is the first... How many volumes is it? The first 3 volumes. These fancy collector's edition leather versions of Berserk. And I bought this. And I read this in 2 hours. Well, I read it like twice in 2 hours. It's you know how fast you can read a comic book? They're pictures. There's not that many words. And so I read it, and then I went through and I reread it, and just like kind of appreciated the art a little bit more, but I was so caught up in the story. And this first one, the first 3 volumes, which is what this is, it only goes to the first, and it gets you to the Golden Age arc, which is the arc mostly from the story, besides the first episode, basically. And so I was just like, okay, shit. So I spent a few $100s, and I gotta stop buying collector's editions. I gotta stop buying these deluxe editions. And so I have 5. I have the first 5. I have 2 more coming. I have 1 through 5 of the deluxe editions of the Berserk manga, which is 1 through 15, which is what was available when the 1997 anime came out. This is the content they have. And I looked up, because I was curious, like, why didn't they continue 1997 Berserk when it came out? And according to a response on Quora, there wasn't enough material. The last volume to publish was 15 when the series finished airing. That's why you never saw Puck, the Skull Knight, some other person I haven't ran into yet. It was intended to be self-contained. If it was intended to be self-contained, there might have been more than just a post-credit sequence on what happens after the eclipse. But anyway, they're also liars because Puck shows up. Puck shows up on page 14 of Volume 1. So we should have seen Puck. We also should have seen the Skull Knight. He was there before the eclipse. He warns him, and then he shows up during the vortex thing. So I haven't gotten a satisfactory answer as to why the 1997 Berserk didn't continue. But Where am I going with this? So I'm going to have 7 of these. That's cool, I guess. And honestly, it's been quite the experience because I love the story. I love Dude Big Sword. That's why I like Dark Souls. I just kind of figured like, hey, let's check this out. And now it's ruined my life. It's ruined my entire life. These stories aren't happy. Even the anime doesn't have that much of like a cool dude swings sword thing going on. Like, it does, but like, it's 1997 anime, so it's like Pokemon where there's 3 movements per minute, you know? But, I mean, the tone of the show is really good, and the music, like, obviously Guts' theme is the whole reason, really, that I got into this show and this manga. And so it's all ambiance, and the story's kind of bare bones, but it's just good. It's just because the characters are good. You care about Guts, you care about Casca, you care about Griffith, who did something wrong. It's one of those things, like, I remember seeing So Long Space Cowboy stuff on Tumblr when I was in high school. And then I finally, last year, watched Cowboy Bebop, and I'm like, oh, I get it, cool. And I have a fucking sticker on my van. And the same thing with this. Like, I recognize, I don't know if you can see it in this, I like the symbol of sacrifice. Like, I've seen that a bunch of places, and now I know what it's from. And it's like, even the meme, I'm gonna go look for it. Even like the are my tweets funny? Yes, now come back to bed. Like, those memes, like, now I get where it's from. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's like, I understand why there's an Ultra Great Sword in Dark Souls now, you know? Like, all this stuff that just came from this really old, and I don't even know what, like, I don't know. And so I'm reading the manga, and it's making me fucking sad. Like, I get it's a miserable world they live in, and I get that that's the fucking point, and it's this dark, edgy, big sword demon thing, but I can't stop reading it. And you give me 2 months, and I'll have read all 40 volumes that are out. And I don't even know if there's a conclusion. I don't know if it's done. And I'm just like, I heard this song in this fucking Halo meme, and now this is something that's part of my. This is something that I'm into. This is a part of my life now. And so, it's just weird. Like, I'm replaying Dark Souls 3 using, like just because reading this makes me want to play Dark Souls, and playing Dark Souls makes me want to read this. And pandemic hits, and I play all 3 Dark Souls because I haven't played them before. And now I've just moved, and I'm living by myself, and I'm reading this thing that Dark Souls is heavily inspired by, and it's just like, especially if you're a fan of Dark Souls, like, you understand like cycles of time and how things don't really ever change, and how everything's predestined is kind of like part of it. It's like kind of the whole point, besides big guy sword. And so it's kind of, it's hard to put into words, but it's kind of just like, I don't get it. Like, I just like on a meta level, it's like that's what these stories are intertwined. And now, like, this sort of thing's kind of repeating again, where it's like I'm spending a lot of time not with people, and so I'm kind of doing the same thing but different. And then that, like, Dark Souls is like a big part of who I am now. Like, I have a tattoo of a wolf with a knife in its mouth because of Sif. Like, I don't like, I feel like I'm going fucking insane. And, like, I don't know. It's just the fucking Berserk 1997 ruined my life. This is just, I don't know how to end this. I don't know why I made this video. I don't fucking know. Griffith did something wrong. Go away.